The moment you begin to argue with a stubborn child, that child already has you where he wants you. Okay, you have brought yourself down to that child's level. And okay, do you know, if you're a very stubborn child and you have done everything within your power to see that this child becomes more respectful, more flexible, more manageable, but nothing seems to be working, as a parent, there are certain mistakes that you are making that is actually making the situation worse, hardening your child the more. And here are five of such mistakes. Number one is when you, as the parent, you refuse to allow any other person to correct or discipline your child. There are some parents that will go to school and issue warnings that nobody should discipline or correct their child. You will see them, I know my child, if he does anything, report to me. Some parents will even fight with their spouses, just because the mother is trying to correct the child, the father doesn't want it, or vice versa. When you do that as a parent, one thing you will succeed in achieving is that you are giving your child an overbloated sense of self. That child is growing up with a false demigod mentality, and he believes that he's above everybody and every law. And before long, he's going to turn back, and begin to show you that stubbornness. Number two mistake parents make is when they issue harsh punishments. Now, one thing you should know is that a stubborn child is trying to prove a point to you. It's telling you, I will not do it. I will not go. Or you're even talking to the child and that child is acting like he's not even listening or he's not hearing. Or the child tells you he will do it and decides not to do it deliberately. That child is trying to prove a point to you. When you now decide to retaliate by giving the child harsh punishment, one thing you are most likely going to achieve is to harden that child. So you are now going to add being hardened to being stubborn, and that is a recipe for disaster. Best bet as a parent is to look for supportive and positive discipline strategies that will help that child self regulate. Number three is to avoid power tussle. When that child is telling you, I will not do it, avoid arguing with that child. That is one mistake parents make. The moment you begin to argue with a stubborn child, that child already has you where he wants you. Okay, you have brought yourself down to that child's level and you have reduced your authority as a parent. The child is telling you, I will not do it. You're telling the child, you must do it. If you don't do it, I will deal with you. I will do this. Try as much as possible not to argue with such a child. Make up your mind. Give the child the first instruction. Give the child at least just one more reminder, and afterwards, let there be consequences. Number four is when you label the child. You're always telling the child, you are stubborn, you're a stubborn goat, you are this, you are that. Over time, the child keeps hearing you are a stubborn goat, you are stubborn, you are hard, you are wicked, you are mean, you are possessed. Obviously, that is what the child hears every day. That is what the child will turn out to be. Try as much as possible to, use positive words for this child. Another mistake parents make is child see, child do. Meaning, if you, the parent, you are a stubborn person, you are the type that doesn't take it easy with your neighbors, you don't take it easy with your friends, you don't take it easy with your spouse, you even go about bragging. Me, I know they take nonsense from anybody. Of course, raising a child is both nurture and nature. Number one, that child first has your genes, or the child has that stubborn genes. And then the environment is growing up with. He's seeing this kind of stubbornness. You are not a flexible parent. Of course, that's exactly how the child is going to turn out. Child see, child do. So if you know that you are that kind of a person and your children or any of your child is, growing up to be like you, then it's time for you to sit back and tell yourself the truth. You have to begin to learn, how to become more tolerant of other people's opinion. Let the child see you, because children learn all of these things, how we relate, how we interact, our decision making processes. Our children are like sponge and they are absorbing everything. So if you want your child to be more flexible, you have to model flexibility. If you want your child to be more understanding, you have to model understanding. You want your child to be more tolerant, you want your child to be more obedient. You have to make sure that you're living peaceably. You are tolerant, of every other person's opinion. That way, it becomes easy for that child to become what you want them to become. And if I may add, This little bonus, and then a little bonus, another mistake parents make is when you don't catch the child that's doing good. It is only when that child is misbehaving that is when you know you will calm down on the child. When the child is trying to be good, when the child is doing something positive, you don't see, you don't comment, you know. I know a lot of parents will say, is that not what he's supposed to be doing? Beyond that, also catch the child at doing good. You know, when the child does something positive, praise the child. The main reason is that for this general rule in life that whatever you pay attention to, whatever you give your time, your energy, and your effort to will grow. So if every time all your energy is centered around the child's misbehavior, the child's stubbornness, that's exactly what is going to continue to grow around the child, or that's the character you're going to continue to see the child displaying, you know. So as much as possible as parents, catch your children being good, you know. When you just give the child an instruction and the child does it immediately, try as much as possible to praise the child's efforts. Now, in praising the child, you must be careful not to praise the child so that the child it doesn't get to the child's head. Instead of saying, "Oh, you're such a good boy, you listened to me, you have changed," though, you know. Praise what the child did. Oh, that's actually you actually did very well. Oh, I'm actually impressed that you listened to me immediately. Praise what the child did. Praise the behavior and not the child. And by the time you continue to do this, by the time you continue to catch the child as being good, you will see that that aspect of the child will also continue to grow. So, I hope these few tips helped one or two parents out there struggling, you know, to make their child more flexible. All right. I am Faith Benjamin, a passionate teacher and a positive parenting coach.